So we'll be getting started here pretty shortly. We're just counting down the runners, and looks like they are off. Starting in Link's house for G2 22, we've got a small key to Hyrule Castle, so we are dealing with key sanity, and it looks like we're also dealing with inverters because our runners have popped out in the Dark World. So having open this being a boot start, Ravus is got the really heads-up knowledge here and just bonking into that rock in the Dark World graveyard to get a guaranteed bomb. 2 bombs is enough for his needs, and he's continuing on from here. GG Dude is lifting up the bushes south of Grove to try and farm some bombs, and I know this works in the light world, but I've never actually seen it done in the dark world, and if anybody can grab items from there. But he also grabs a hug container from Stumpy and is out there. Rave is immediately taking one of his bombs into Hype Cave, and this is exactly why he's got 2 bombs. Gets 20 rupees from the thief out the front. A small key to Turtle Rock, a bow, 5 rupees, and a map to Turtle Rock. So Vavis is on 25 rupees right now, and I believe the archery game is 20 or 30 rupees. I don't remember off the top of my head, but you do need some amount of rupees to start off with. So if you want to farm money, you've got to have some starting capital to begin with. Farming money from the archery game in Inverted is a pretty typical early gameplay because your money sources are ridiculously limited in Inverted compared to a regular open seed. So oftentimes you'll be seeing people farm some money from the archery game, then taking that straight over to the digging game, which costs 80 rupees. Avis has just left, so I don't believe his 25 rupees are enough for that archery game. It should be 30 rupees. So he's out of there. GG Dude is proceeding towards Skull Woods. If you want to farm up bombs in the early game in Inverted, Skull Woods is also a good choice. You have to fall into one of the holes here, which will put you in a room with a circle of pots. And one of those pots, well, 2 of those pots actually have guaranteed bombs. So once you've got your bombs, you take a death, you spawn back in the room, and you get some more bombs. So he's going to be checking out the first chest here before he does that, and he finds a bomber's medallion. Yeah, Rave is resetting his health there in the first room of Skullwoods, also going to get this bomber's medallion. Ooh, Jitty Dude runs into a firebar and takes a death. This puts him straight back to the beginning of the room again. Inverted is pretty notorious for being particularly deadly in the early game because you're running around with green mail and 3 hearts, or 4 hearts in that case, because Stumpy did cough up a heart container. And Dark World enemies are basically designed for you to be in the Dark World much later when you have a whole bunch of heart containers to keep yourself alive, and a lot more items. A lot of stuff in the Dark World does 2 or 3 hearts of damage if you so happen to run into them. The Gypters here are pretty deadly by themselves. I believe they also do 2 hearts of damage, and Ravus is navigating them really expertly to try and get this statue into place. And it looks like GG Dude picked up a sword from the pit chest here. So he was able to fend off that Gibder that was getting in his way. Ravus gets the chest there and then takes another death to get back to the front again. And very well timed Wall Master there for Ravus. Grabs the small key, immediately gets grabbed and taken back to the front entrance again, so you can use that key elsewhere. So no sign of a big key as far as I know, so that's probably going to be in the back. And here we see GG Dude is going to be lifting up these pots to get some of those guaranteed bombs. He's looking for other things from the pots here, but I believe those 2 bombs are the most lucrative drop. Though he also does get a little bit of magic in case he wants to use that bomber's medallion. Rufus takes perhaps his 4th death so far, making real use of death warps here in the front of Skullwoods. And with nothing else to do in Skullwoods, Rufus is out of there. He's going to proceed south to the Village of Outcasts. He has got 30 rupees now, so if he wanted to go to the archery game, he would be probably popping into that after he's done here in Village. But with that first sword, popping into Thieves Town here is going to be much safer than it otherwise would be. So from the C-shaped house, we have Power Gloves. And Rafe is actually going to take his money into the chess game here. So 30 rupees activates it, he gets a Master Sword. Very nice. Really doesn't do anything for progress, but it allows you to kill stuff faster in Dark World, and since stuff in the Dark World is deadly, yeah, killing it faster is great. Ravis being out of bombs is not able to open up the brewery here. That's why I was calling out that one room in Skullwoods. You grab 2 bombs from there, you take a death, you grab another 2 bombs, and but none of our runners on the restream have chosen to do that, so they're going to be lacking bombs. Well, there's 3 bombs there in the start of Thieves Town, so once Ravis is done in Thieves Town, he can just take this to the south. So he's covered at least. There's our first bottle as well. Yeah, Dude basically having no rupees to his name is not even bothering with the rest of the checks in Village of Outcasts because he can't do them. Another set of bombs in the 3rd chest. And this should be the big key here. Oh, no, more bombs. The big key was the 2nd chest. Oh, that is an awful start to Thieves Town. 3 packs of bombs in the front. Oh yeah, Jack reminds me, this is key sanity because we did see a couple small keys pop up in front, so no big key here. That big key is going to be somewhere else in the world. And there's a hammer that will give our runners access to the East Dark World. And Rave is being utterly out of cash again. He's still going to be putting off the digging game and archer game for quite some time yet, but he's got other places to be. Immediately runs into a Hinox outside of the bomb shop and takes death. Dark World enemies want to give you hugs. Don't let them give you hugs. They are pretty spicy. So I don't think any runner is going to want to dive into pod immediately because we have no small keys for that. But Rapis is, well, he was heading over there and then probably remembers that it's key sanity. And yeah, not quite a good idea to go up there just yet. Probably want to be checking out the pyramid and catfish first. Having a few stream issues on Jijiju's side, but it looks like he's going to make use of those 9 bombs in Thieves Town to get into Hype Cave and get his bow. And there's a moon pole there on Pyramid. That should be our access to Light World, because we have the hammer, we have the gloves. So, what Ravis is probably going to do after maybe checking Catfish here is he's going to proceed to the south of the bomb shop, and over there's going to be a situation that looks quite similar to Light World. You hammer down some pegs, you lift up the rock, and there is a rather peculiar green portal that will take you into Light World. This being inverted, we have portals to the Light World coming from the Dark World, and when we find a mirror, that will port you from the Light World back to the Dark World. Okay, Rafe is checking out the catfish. Unfortunately, we do have some stream issues, so I don't think we're going to be able to see what this item is unless we get something popping up on this menu. Chat is pointing out that Jitty Dude is not running around a lot. I see this happen so many times in boot seeds. Runners just because they don't pick up boots anywhere, and they just kind of forget they have boots. And do the long, long walk to that moon pole and back. Accidentally walks into a moblin there outside a pyramid, but he's still alive. GG Dude are now on half a heart left. He's got to be super careful to get up to catfish. Yeah, we see that Rafis has made his way into the light world now. And he's checking the light world Link's house, which is actually now the bomb shop. And we see that there are crystals in Mizumaya. Of course, having picked up no maps except for a map for Turtle Rock, we don't actually see what any of the dungeons are. And I don't think we've seen a Dark World map check, so we don't even know what Turtle Rock is. Anyway, now having access to the light world, Rafis has access to a lot more items here. He's starting off with an Ether medallion in the uncle chest. And 50 rupees from the uncle. Dude is slowly making his way up to catfish. Alright, let's see what catfish had. He had a map. And that was a map to Swamp Palace. And yes, Swamp Palace is one of our 5-6, as was shown by the bomb shop, and it looks like Turtle Rock was a pendant. Now, Ganon's Tower has been transported to the Light World in place of Aga Tower. So, and Ravis was checking the sign out there to see if we needed all 7 crystals to enter Ganon's Tower, and that is indeed the case. So we're not dealing with reduced crystals to enter Ganon's Tower. We may be dealing with reduced crystals to fight Ganon. Yeah, the sign outside was also 7 crystals to fight Ganon, but if you actually noticed outside the tower, there was a hole in the floor there. So we're actually dealing with fast Ganon, so we're not going to have to enter the tower, because as soon as we have the 7 crystals to fight Ganon, we may be able to go fight Ganon. So no need to go in the tower. Ravis finds a hook shop in the boomerang chest in Hyrule Castle. And Chichidu is going to make his Light World venture from the western side, taking the long walk through to get over here. And he's going to have to go through Lost Woods, but he'll be able to pick up a few items in Lost Woods at least. Guaranteed big key from the ball and chain guard there. We've got another pack of bombs in Zelda's chest, and Rafe is just going to walk into this green guard a bit to get back to the front. He has got the lamp, so Dark Cross is in logic, although I imagine somebody with Rafe's skill could probably get over there quite happily anyway, especially with having a sword in hand. We've got a compass at the mushroom spot in Lost Woods. Duty Dude is just leaving that behind because compasses are fairly useless in Key Sanity. And he's actually going to check the item in the Thieves' Hideout instead of just blindly grabbing it. Unusual play. I still would have blindly grabbed that considering we are just really early on in the seed still. But that was just a piece of heart, and he's going to leave it behind. In Dark Cross, we have 300 rupees, and Ravis should be covered for most of his needs from now on. Unless we talk about stuff like King Zora, but let's not talk about that just yet. He is in logic though with those gloves. Dude in the bottom of Blind's hut. A lot of items coming up here on both sides. We've got a big key to Eastern Palace. That's a nice one. A map to Desert Palace. A small key to Ice Palace in Blind's hut. And yet more bombs. So Avis is heading to the Sanctuary chest, so I believe there should be one more item coming up there. So especially this being Key Sanity, it's not going to be a guaranteed map there, or something else if you didn't find the map or keys. It is going to be another item, and in this case it was a piece of heart. So Ravis, remembering he has boots, is going to make his way over to... well, he doesn't actually have to bonk through the rocks there, because that's just the Dark World, but he does remember Inverted, and Graveyard Ledge is not actually quite as inaccessible as it is normally. He can just walk up a ladder there and walk in the cave. And inside we have a big key. It's to Mizumaya. The Chitty Dude makes an investment at the bottle fender, pays 100 rupees, gets 300 back. Probably the nicest way that can go. And yes, Ravis, remembering he has boots, is going to proceed into Bonk Rocks here. There's something useful here, it's just a small shield, but if there's something useful here, that could bite Chitty Dude, because the poor guy does not remember he has boots. He is just walking his way. In the back of the bar, we have our first key to Paths of Darkness. We've got a piece of heart from the sick kid, and that was something blue at the Lumberjack. I think it was blue male, so Raves is probably not going to be killing Aga for that. Worth pointing out that if he actually wanted to go kill Aga in Inverted, you are going to have to go up to where Ganna's Tower is in the Dark World. So that's going to need access to the west side of the Dark Mountain, be that through the flute or making your way through to the top of the mountain in the Light World, which you can do having those glove and lamps. Go in the portal, and then once you're in the portal, there's just a little ladder up leading up to Ganna's Tower, which is actually now Aga's Tower. We've got a compass at the race game, and we're just leaving that behind. And hey, look, Jude is running. He remembers. Another little inverted thing, because the graveyard list is accessible due to that being a location that would be, without the ladder, completely inaccessible due to the way the mirror works in Inverted. You can get up there to the ladder, and K45 south of the Grove here is also kind of stamped down. There's no ledge there anymore, you can just walk in. Raven's now having tons of cash. It's probably maybe thinking about King Zora. This is a 500 rupee heavy investment, but if you choose to get over to Zora by fake flippers, we do have a handy moon pearl there to actually get into Waterfall Cave. for some reason, you cannot get into the waterfall cave without the moon pearl if you're doing fake flippers. It's something to do with the way the game checks for items in your inventory. Of course, if you have the flippers, you could just swim in there the regular way. That's not possible right now, but if you want to do fake flipper over this King's Aura, you can check out the waterfall cave on your way. Given this is a 4-key sanity seed, we have got small keys and big keys mixed up all over the world. We probably will be seeing some sword checks sooner rather than later, because those keys could be just about anywhere. Items are much more scattered than they otherwise would be, and you do need a lot more necessary items to complete the game. We won't be needing any Ganon's Tower small keys or big key at the very least, so small blessings there. And usually in that case, we just find a Ganon's Tower big key in somewhere completely obvious. Dude gets the information about 7 crystals for Ganon's Tower, but I don't think he actually walked over to see if the hole was there or not, so I'm not sure if he actually managed to catch that. At the very least, when he's got all 7 crystals and thinks about going into Ganon's Tower, he's going to see that hole empty and see, oh, I can just fight Ganon immediately. So it's not going to cost him too much. Dude actually preceding out the other exit in Hyrule Castle. I'm pretty sure he can walk past the hole there, so I'm not quite sure why he did that. But he reads the other sign and sees that he needs all 7 crystals to defeat Ganon. So 7/7 fast Ganon are our settings here. Rapist tries to hookshot through the block there to get the chest in the dam and doesn't quite do it properly. It looks like he took an emulator screenshot instead. It happens. So he's going to have to walk out and back in again. Under the water at the dam, we see there is a small key. And the chest inside is a piece of pearl. And that was our second key to Palace of Darkness. We're going to proceed over to Mini Mordom Cave now with plenty of bombs and a sword. This isn't going to be a particularly hard Mini Mordom Cave to go through, and probably be dashing up to Ice Rock Cave from here, and then probably do the aforementioned fake flippers over to the sword area. Because when you've got 1,000 rupees that you can play around with, then the sword looks pretty appealing as a check. We've got a big key to Skull Woods from the Thief in Mini Mordom Cave. Doesn't do anything other than open up the big chest. But there could be an item in there. So that is one additional check. And there was a third key to Palace of Darkness inside there. So we have got the hammer, we've got the bow, and we've got the lamp, and we're picking up a bunch of small keys. I think with 4 small keys, Palace of Darkness would be fully clearable. But we don't know what kind of dungeon Palace of Darkness is, so that kind of desensitizes it a bit. Palace of Darkness is a long dungeon, and to really put it fully in logic, you actually need 6 small keys. If you were to full clear it, you only need 5 small keys, and you have to make sure to not open up specific doors in there. And you can clear the whole dungeon with 4 small keys, but you have to do certain tricks like the hammer yup over to the big chest. But yeah, we are seeing a lot of Palace of Darkness small keys right now. Mavis is actually going to set up a water walk here in Iceford Cave, so he just dashes against the door there at the final angle, and that stores a water walk. And by dashing off the ladder here, he's walking on water. So this is particularly useful for checking out the Saw area quickly, and also checking out the other things here, like the Lake Hylia Island, which is 20 rupees. He's also going to root in Hobo as well, so once he's done Hobo, he will have to go into fake flipper status, but that's not too hard to set up from the Hobo. You simply have to jump off the ledge at the right position to immediately map transition, and you're in fake flipper status. Hobo gives us a heart container. GG Dude going to get his keys from the back of the Hyrule Castle escape here. He's still lacking a Master Sword, and that Master Sword was on the chess game. So it might be a while before he goes back to that. Ravis is actually not going to fake Flipper up to the sword area. He's actually going to go route over to Eastern instead. Not what I was expecting, but he will be able to get information on the green pendant here from Sahasrara, and also 3 items in the back lab, and he's proving me a lie and not actually going to Sahasrara, he's going straight into Eastern. So Eastern is a full clearable dungeon. You've got a bunch of items in there. We don't know if it's a pendant or crystal, but it is fully clearable and completely in logic thanks to having that lamp, so he's just going for it. Eastern Palace is one of the easiest dungeons in the game to clear regularly, and he grabs a small key from the first chest, and unfortunately I did not catch what that small key was because we got a little pause in the stream there, so that one will remain a mystery to me. But yes, as soon as you get the big key to Eastern Palace and the bow, you can full clear the dungeon. And nothing in the dungeon is particularly threatening, so he's in a fairly good spot here. He remembers he's got the hookshot and is taking the shortcut to this chest here and grabs the powder. Very nice safety item. Jitty Dude, now that he remembers he has the boots, has grabbed that small shield from the bonk rocks. Oops, I should have been dashing around ages ago. But he's also taking time to get his big key to Missing Maya from the graveyard ledge. Another small key to Palace of Darkness in the Eastern Palace big chest. That's 4 small keys. You can actually finish the dungeon now. If you're particularly careful with your key usage and your trick usage like Hammer Jump, you can full clear the dungeon on those 4 small keys. Ah, yes, but of course we do like the big key, as reminds me. So we can full clear the dungeon, except for the boss. But the boss of Palace of Darkness takes a bit of time to get to, so you may be seeing some dives into that fairly shortly, at least on Raves this side. Jujutsu is actually going to check out some other stuff in the Dark World. We see that there's a piece of heart on the bumper ledge, and he's actually going to proceed into Death Mountain. So to get that piece of heart, you would need a mirror. So not having a mirror, you cannot get to that. So luckily it's not a necessary item, but you would have to actually go into the Death Mountain escape and to get that. Or mirror over from the Light World. I think that's actually only applies to entrance rando if you are dealing with shenanigans there. But anyway. So this being inverted, you can just walk into the cave there and go up to Death Mountain this way. And unfortunately, you have to drag the old man all the way over to the Light World using the portal, and then take him back down the mountain to hand him in. And whilst you're dragging him around, you walk particularly slowly, and your running speed of your boots isn't any faster too. He's actually making use of a hookshot here to go faster, because that is pretty much the only way to go faster with the old man following. He's also trying to set up hook speed here on the stairs, but I'm not sure that works with the old man. We've got a Tutti Frutti Trinex in the back of Eastern Palace, so yep, we're dealing with boss shuffle randomizer. Oh boy. So yeah, Rave just runs into the boss and takes a death. So if you want to beat Eastern Palace, you're going to need a Fire Rod and Ice Rod. No, I completely forgot we had randomizer settings here, but at the very least, we are dealing with boss shuffle. And that is our first boss in the seed, so we don't know if it's going to be like a just boss shuffle or chaos boss shuffle. If it's chaos boss shuffle, we could be seeing lots of Trinexes around. So that is unfortunate. But yeah, I actually think Actually, now in hindsight, I actually think it was a really good choice to go into the dungeon there and find out if it's boss shuffle, and Ravis did confirm that. So now he knows that at least for this dungeon, he's going to need a fire rod and ice rod. He's now gone over to Sahasrara's hut and checked out the stuff there, but unfortunately, I haven't been able to catch up on the restream, so some stuff is going to remain a mystery. We've got a small key to Turtle Rock inside Spectacle Rock. Hello? That was a hint tile. That's hint tile said that a piece of heart requires a bomb, and it didn't have the weird link face on it, so I think hint tiles are actually enabled for this seed. I think this is the first time I've seen hint tiles enabled in possibly forever. Well, at least a year in a daily race. They've been they've been disabled by default for a very long time in daily races. Ravis is thinking his 4 small keys are looking pretty good for Paths of Darkness right now. And he's going to take a quick peek in here. So he does have access to everything that's not King Helmsaw in Paths of Darkness, assuming he knows how to hammer yump. Grabs a big key to Ice Palace in the first chest. If you do know how to hammer yump, you save yourself a small key, and you can full clear the dungeon with just 4 small keys. Otherwise, you have to burn a small key to get into there. If you ever want to practice or play Key Sanity, hammer yump is one of the most important tricks that can save you a lot of time with Paths of Darkness. I'll talk more about that when Ravis gets up there. Ooh, we've got a shovel popping up there. Dude actually proceeding into Aga here. So he's got access to 1 chest. I don't think we've seen any small keys to Castle Tower. So he's only got access to 1 chest. He's making use of a Ballman's Medallion here to one-shot the Ball and Chain Guard. So a very smart play. So he's just going to grab 1 check in here, and then he's going to be right out. Oh hey, 5th small key to Paths of Darkness inside here. So as long as you don't go burn a small key going back to, well, going through the front of a dungeon, you don't have to worry about the hammer yump now, at least on Ravis' side. Now, I must point out that Ravis did burn that small key going through the middle there to get to where that shovel was. So that small key bails him out a little bit. He's essentially thinking, yeah, this is a pendant. I'm not going to need the small key to get over to Helmsaw King, so I can just burn it here. Ooh, we've got a flute popping up. Dude's going into the Super Bunny Cave here. This being inverted, I don't think it's ever possible to Super Bunny your way in here, so the name is kind of misleading. Just grabs 20 rupees and a piece of heart. He's really lacking those heart containers that Ravis has picked up. So I wouldn't be passing up those pieces of heart if I were him, especially since he's got 1 heart left. If he got a new heart container from a piece of heart, it would refill his health. Taking a quick peek here at Turtle Rock, it is Quake Medallion to get inside. Hello, there's a big key to Paths of Darkness inside Paths of Darkness. And a small key to Skull Woods. So that's 1 extra check for Ravis. And hey, he could go to the boss now. If he hadn't burned that small key to go for the middle. So now this puts the hammer yump back into play for him. But yeah, Ravis is going to save himself an important small key here. And get onto this bridge and use a... he's going to use pulse buffer strats here to get himself into position. He's going to lay a bomb and use a bomb jump here to get over the pit and clip through the barrier, which will allow him to check out the big chest and Dark Maze without burning a small key. Finds a Quake Medallion. Hey, we just saw that was required for Turtle Rock. Interesting. So yeah, Ravis saves himself a small key here. If he didn't save himself a small key, he wouldn't need to find the 6th Palace of Darkness small key to actually finish the dungeon. He's... Okay, he kind of walked towards the door and thought, hang on, no, I don't want to use my small key here. And now he's just going to kill himself on a Kudon goes to therefore back to the front. We'll see if he goes to the boss or not. Getting to the boss takes a long time, and he knows it's a pendant, so he probably will choose to leave this behind. Or not? No, he's going for it. Okay, so he's just going to make sure he's done everything in this dungeon possible and not have to worry about it until later, which is a reasonable choice to make. Oh, we have got a Fire Rod and Titans right next to each other in Paradox Cave for Dude. Quite tasty. The Tinsmiths aren't quite as useful as they would be in Inverted, but it's still a nice find to get. But that Fire Rod, if we need to kill any Trinaxes in this seed, that is 100% necessary. Go there, Compass to Turtle Rock. And Flippers. This was a pretty loaded Paradox Cave. So two things that can often catch out new runners in Paths of Darkness is that you need a big key to get to the boss. That's something that I always forget about. And you also need a small key for that door. So if you've burnt all your small keys previously, you kind of run into trouble in the back here. Dude grabs a big key to Desert Palace from the floating island in the Light World on Death Mountain. That's an important key too. It will allow him to complete the dungeon if he wants to go into Desert Palace. And he probably will do because that is a crystal. Oh boy, we've got a multicolored Moldorm here with extra eyeballs. But this being Moldorm and not in his regular room, he's pretty easy to take out. And he just drops a map. So Ravis grabs a green pendant here. This does get him another item from Shahasrara, so not a total loss. It is 2 checks from one boss, essentially. And this being Paths of Darkness, he is right next to Shahasrara. So it's really not a bad choice to go for that, and just make sure you don't need to finish the dungeon. He's actually not going to hand in that green pendant though, so never mind that. Meanwhile, Dude is making his way into Tower of Hera. He does not have a big key, he does not have a small key, so there's no way in logic he can finish this dungeon. So what instead he's trying to do is set up a Hera pot here. He's going to use a bomb to clip himself inside the pot here, and then having a hookshot, he will hookshot to the upper side of the pot, which will allow him to fall inside and make his way up to the top of the dungeon and beat the dungeon. It will mean the basement remains out of reach. It will mean that the big chest remains out of reach. So it's leaving a lot of stuff behind. Fortunately, Dude didn't get the bomb jump on the first few tries and is now out of health to actually do another bomb jump, so he's leaving the dungeon. There's another map on Spectacle Rock which he's grabbing, and that is to Beast Town. If he wants to go have another go to Tower of Hera, he should probably just take a death in the front, and that will reset his health and he can try again. But he's just choosing to leave it for now, because it is ridiculously out of logic right now. And we don't know if it's a pendant or a crystal anyway. Rave is grabbing that flute and is going to break out a chicken in from a statue here. Quite how the chicken is actually alive, being stuck inside a statue, I don't really know. Maybe you can feed the duck through the beak for a statue. And Anyway, the duck is loose, and now Rufus has access to a lot of locations in the Dark World. So this being inverted, you still have to activate the flute in the Light World, but at the Dark World, actually only port you around in the Dark World. Rufus swaps to his magic powder here with Quick Swap, not actually going to his menu for this. So this being kind of tournament settings for SG Live, not only do we have boots as our starting item for all of the seeds this week, we also have Quick Swap enabled. Something that you would normally only see in sorry, I think I cut out that. Something you'd only see in Entrance Rando. But we do have Quick Swap enabled for all of the races this week. So if you want to race this week, remember, you've got Quick Swap and you've got boots. Don't forget. Brave is also giving us that shovel check. And that would be a blank item. So if this were not a boot start seed, that would be where boots would be. But wherever boots may be in seed, the logic actually doesn't care for them because it's now a blank item. So you could totally find that blank item behind a boot slot checked. Ravis takes a quick peek outside Musimai, and I did not catch what the entrance was today because that's something that I normally miss out on the restreams, unfortunately. It just cuts it off by a little too much for me to catch it. Ravis has so much health now. Now, Gigi Dude is also making his way over to the Icewood Caves, and maybe we will see him check out the King Zora area. Because he's almost got 1,200 rupees. Alright, a bit of a map check there. Again, we knew that Mizumaya and Swan Pass were our 5-6 crystals from the bomb shop, but we did find out that Turtle Rock is a pendant. That's kind of irrelevant because we know there's a Trinex. We know that's in Eastern Palace. There may be more Trinexes in the seed. And if we do need to kill a Trinex, we're going to need an Ice Rod, so you may want to proceed into Turtle Rock anyway, once you find the Cane of Samaya. Don't need to worry about an Ice Rod hunt for that, unless we do have Chaos Boss Shuffle. So far, we've only seen a Trinex and a Moldor, so we can't confirm it either way, just yet. And Gigi doesn't actually have to worry about setting up a Water Walk or Fake Flipper here, really, because he's got the Flippers. I'm not sure if that was an accident if he swam into that whirlpool, or if he just swam into it by deliberately thinking it was the other whirlpool, but that one will just port you to the light side, but the west side of the light world. Not too useful for his needs. If he wants to go to the Azor area, he'd need that little whirlpool south of the Lake Hylia fairy fountain. So whilst our runners are covering some of the checks that they've already done, I want to give another shout out to SG Live. That's going to be taking place starting in November. And as a preview for that this week, we have got boot seeds for all of our races this week. Link to Pass Randomizer is going to be one of our tournament races at SG Live. And the settings for SG Live will be boot start for everything, quick swap enabled, and other than that, it will be mixed up a bit for each race. So it's not going to be, as far as I know, it's not going to be open boots for every single seed. We could end up with a Misty seed like this, just with boot start. Like what we're seeing today. Oh, my me tells me I'm wrong. Okay, it's always going to be open boots, right. Okay, in Waterfall Cave we have a small key to Gan's Tower and a big key to Tower of Hera. So yeah, as mentioned, SG Live will be taking place in November. If you want to participate in that, me has posted the link in the Twitch chat. We have got a $1,200 prize pool for SG Live so far. And there's going to be multiple tournaments happening there for many different games. I know off the top of my head, Link to Past Randomizer is happening, Mega Man X is happening, some Castlevania games, I think Area of Sorrow, and I think Castlevania 2 are also taking place. But if you want to get the full details, it is right there in the channel. Anyway, Dude is making his way up to King's Row. I think we're going to miss what the item is. For Eltner, we just managed to catch it. It is a piece of heart. He's proceeding south, though. There's an item on the ledge that interests him. Ah, it's a map to Dark Palace, so not that useful. We already know it's a green pendant thanks to Sahasrara. Right, Rave is also making his way into Tower of Hera. Again, he's lacking all the keys for it. We know that big key was in Waterfall Cave for Dude, so we'll see if Ravis has a bit more luck here pulling off the Hera pot. He's got a lot more health to do it with, so and Ravis is a very experienced runner, so hopefully he knows how to do it. Well, I think he knows how to do it. He's just going to have a bit more luck with it. He's actually setting up hook speed there on the stairs there to try and clip into the pot with using hook speed. There he goes. Just runs into the pot and hook shots to the upside, and up he goes. Unfortunately, we're having a few stream issues here. I do apologize for that. So it looks like Rafis has made his way up to another Moldorm. So we're dealing with Chaos Boss Shuffle. Oh no. Okay, so we're going to have a random amount of random bosses in the seed. That means we could be dealing with a lot of Trinexes. Actually, yeah, Mind of Me points out something useful there. That was a second Moldorm, and in the vanilla game, there are actually two Moldorms, because you do, of course, get that one extra Moldorm up on in Gan's Tower. So maybe not Chaos Boss Shuffle yet. This does not confirm it. We still know there's a Trinex, though. Yeah, if we see three Moldorms, it's Chaos. And three Moldorms is probably the nicest kind of Chaos, because Moldorm's an easy boss. You only need a sword or a hammer to beat him, or something that's going to stamp on his tail. Dude also grabbing his powder from Eastern Palace. We'll see if he decides to finish the dungeon or not. If he chooses to finish the dungeon, he will see there's a Trinex surprise at the back. Really unpleasant surprise. So it looks like Ravis grabbed a small key to Tower of Hera here in Tower of Hera, and it's actually going to go into the basement and check out the chest here, and looks like we missed the item. Yeah, I can say with confidence that one of the items in Tower of Hair was a small key to the dungeon. GG2 is remembering that hint tile is unable. Read the hint tile there. The single arrow requires the hammer. GG2 grabs his small key to Palace of Darkness inside Eastern Palace, and I think that puts him at 3 small keys now, so not quite comfortable for making a dive into the dungeon yet. As I recall, the flute was inside Palace of Darkness, and nothing much else inside there, so that will get you access to Maya, and Maya is a crystal, so we're going to need that flute either way. Riv is now going to make his play onto Death Mountain. There's tons of items waiting for him in here, and he's also making the quick dive into Agatha to grab the chest in front there. He's just making his fat fire rod there to one-shot the ball and chain guards. It works just like the bomber stallion, but a little bit quicker. Right, as we see GG Dude walking up to the Trinex surprise here in the back of Eastern Palace, let me give a little bit of info on what we know that the settings are so far. So we've got Randomizer, and the kind of Randomizer is a boss shuffle of some kind. We're not confirmed yet if it's just boss shuffle or chaos boss shuffle. At very least, we've seen 2 Moldoms and a Tutti Frutti Trinex here, tropical flavor. So GG Dude has to just unfortunately walk into him until he dies and make his way back out of the dungeon because he cannot do this boss. After that, we do have inverted mode. So our runner started off in the Dark World. They very quickly got a hammer, gloves, and moon pole, so they weren't stuck in the Dark World for too long. No excessively awkward dungeon dice for them. We also know we're dealing with a full key sanity, so all of our small keys and big keys are shuffled around the whole of the world for our runners to find. We are also dealing with normal difficulty settings because runners have picked up blue mail, and at least Ravis has picked up blue mail, and I'm pretty sure that the item on the lumberjack was another mail. Originally that was blue mail, so that should be red mail now, and so that confirms this is just normal difficulty settings because that red mail would not be available in hard or expert. We have got hint tiles enabled. I think most runners are probably going to miss that because barely anybody checks hint tiles these days because they are disabled by default. So you can pick up some extra info there if you wanted. And we also have 7/7 Fast Ganon. So you need 7 crystals to enter Ganon's tower, but you also need 7 crystals to fight Ganon himself. So probably he's going to not be needing any keys for Ganon's tower at all. And with that, both our runners are now proceeding into Ice Palace. It's available to them with the flippers in hand. Digitude and both Vapors and Digitude have 2 small keys. So unfortunately, we're not going to be seeing an icebreaker to get over to that because we do not have the Cane of Samaya. So we're going to have to go through the dungeon the traditional way using a bomb jump. And 2 small keys is fairly comfortable for the dungeon. You can get through most of the dungeon using that. Ravis does have that big key, so he will be able to check out the big chest as well. I do not believe Digitude has that big key. Yeah, just seeing his menu there very quickly, it doesn't look like he's picked it up. We do have a lot of information about this dungeon otherwise. We do know that it is a crystal dungeon, so runners have to dip in here at some point regardless. So we're probably going to be seeing both Ravers and Judy Dude try and finish off this dungeon whilst they're here. This bomb jump here is something I am ridiculously terrible at it, and Ravers is doing a lot of pause buffing here to get himself into position. It gets across in one try, though. Judy gets across a little bit quicker than him, but takes his time waiting for the fireball there to ensure he doesn't take any damage, because he is lacking that blue mail. He's got a lot more hearts now that he's done some of the checks that Ravers did earlier, so he's in a fair more comfortable position. Ravers going to use one of those small keys to check out the right side here. How does the bunny beam inside the rock before lifting up the bunny beam for a quick health top up? And we've got a map to Skull Woods in Ice Palace. So judging from our tracker, it looks like our dungeon information is looking pretty complete right now. I think we know what all of our pendants and crystals are. We actually have 2 pendants marked on the tracker. I think our third pendant is a mystery right now, and I reckon that is probably going to be. Oh no, wait! It's Tower of Hair, Paths of Darkness, and Turtle Rock. I was missing that third pendant. Okay, so we know that Skullwoods is going to be a guaranteed crystal either way. So that map doesn't do anything for us now. Any more maps? We can skip. 20 rupees in the free sword chest, and Ravers is going to bomb jump over the pit here to make his way over to Iced Tea. Making use of his other small key to get into the room in the south here and get over quite a bit quicker to Iced Tea than taking the long way round. And we have the big key to Swamp Palace. That's not, unfortunately, the key we need for Swamp Palace. We are going to need to find a small key for that somewhere. The big key only opens up the big chest in Swamp Palace. If you want to actually get anywhere in Swamp Palace at all, you're going to need to find a small key. The Swamp Palace small key is kind of the key sanity analog to the Ice Rod in just a regular non-key sanity mode. You're going to have to scour the entire siege for that small key. It could be anywhere. It could even be in Swamp Palace itself, but only in that first chest at the front. Gigi is actually taking the long trip around to Iced Tea. Maybe not so confident with the bomb jump across the pit. He has got enough small keys to get over there anyway, if he wanted to. And we've got an Armor's Knight in the bottom of Ice Palace. Not too difficult, despite this being the Ice Dungeon. This isn't Armor's on Armor's on Ice, so you can finish off the boss without too much trouble. And he grabs a Cane of Samaya. So, you are never going to finish this dungeon if you rely on the Icebreaker glitch. So I believe if that's Maya being there, the key logic expects you to get all the small keys and to do the full trip around the dungeon to because logic doesn't expect you to do the bomb jump at the beginning, so you have to do ice pads the really long, slow way, like the devs originally intended. Rave is taking that big key up into Skull Woods. He sees in the big chest there's a small key to Mizumaya. Dude probably not expecting an Armor Knight down here, doesn't get the quick kill quite set up, so the last Armor Knight gets a bit red and angry and takes 3 hours to finish off, but he gets the job done. Because even an angry Armor Knight is a very, very small threat, and he gets his first crystal. Rave is making his way, not Rave, it's Dude making his way north of Ice Palace to probably take a poke into Palace of Darkness now. I think he has 3 small keys for it. There's only 2 small keys on our tracker, so a shout out to our tracker, Mind of Me, doing an excellent job tracking for me today. Also pointing out a few things that I occasionally get wrong, because I'm not the best. I admit this. Oh boy, yep, that's this Chaos Boss Shuffle, because we've got another Armor Knights here in Morpheus Room in Skull Woods. Oh no, it's not Chaos Boss Shuffle, because of course this would be the other Chaos, I keep forgetting about the Gannis Tower X bosses, so yeah, we might just be dealing with regular boss shuffle here. In fact, given that there's 2 Moldorms, 2 Armor Knights down here so far, it's looking likely this is just regular boss shuffle. And Armor Knights get a bit funny in this room. They tend to clip off screen and dance around in weird ways, because Morpheus Room does strange things to bosses sometimes. And Waves is out of arrows, so he's going to have to take out this last angry Armos with the sword. It is taking a lot of hits. I think this might actually be Ice Armors. If I remember correctly, Ice Armors, they still take 3 bow shots to kill normally, but normally an Armor Knight would take 8 sword hits if it's the normal sword hits, fighter sword hits, if it's the one in Eastern Pass. But I believe the Armor Knights in Gannis Tower are actually tankier and take more hits. Because that looks like a lot of spins to take out that Armor Knight. Yeah, Dude has got 4 small keys, so if he wants to go do a full clear of the dungeon, he can do so if he knows how to. Well, he doesn't need to know how to use Hammer Yum, because there was a small key and a big key inside of here. So he can full clear the dungeon if he wants to. And he is going to get his flute coming up pretty shortly. Mavis is now thinking about Maya. He has got that big key, he has got a small key, which he grabbed in Skull Woods, and we see that it was Bombos to get inside, so he's making his way in. Chichidu's also grabbing his shovel in here, but I don't think that was anything for Ravers, so that's not going to be useful for him. But that flute is particularly useful, because that is our Maya access. 300 rupees popping up in the first chest of Maya inside, I believe it is the map chest. It's a spiky room chest anyway. In the crystal block switch is just a few rupees. And looks like Ravis is going to make his way over to the cutscene chest because he's still lacking some keys to finish the seed. We are currently looking for the Thieves Town big key and the Swamp Palace small key. I don't think the back of desert is in logic unless we grab a small key somewhere, but if our runners just choose to go into the back and finish off the boss, they can perfectly possibly do that. We will put the front of desert out of reach for them. Or at least some chests in the front of desert, not all of the chests. We will have access to one chest in the torture. So that's what we need for keys. Luckily, we don't actually need that many keys to finish the seed off, but we need a small key and a big key, and those could be hidden just about anywhere, really, so we're not done yet. We know there's a Trinex in Eastern Palace, and we're going to need an ice rod for that. So that's the compass in the big chest of Mizumai, and Ravis is probably going to go over to the boss now. Juice is making his way background in pod. He's not checking out the dark maze. Okay. So he's got one small key left to use. Now, he came into the dungeon with 4 small keys, so I know there's one other small key he can grab in here. I don't know if I didn't pay enough attention to see if he actually grabbed that small key and used it already, or if he's still to grab it. I actually think it was in the basement chest here. Yep, there it is. So Dude can now check out the vanilla big key chest if he wants to. He could also burn a small key to get over to the big chest in Palace of Darkness if he doesn't know how to hammer jump. And he could also have access to the boss. So 3 doors and 3 things available to him. If he knows how to hammer jump, then he can do all of those checks. If he doesn't know how to hammer jump, then he can only do 2 of them. Looks like given his routing here, he's probably going to be going to the boss now. And I did not see him go over to the dark maze, so I'm going to say he probably is not comfortable with hammer jumping. Oh, he did do the dark maze? Okay. Okay, we have got a landmass in the back here of Mizumaya. So given the variety of bosses we've seen so far, I think it's pretty comfortable to say this is just regular boss shuffle now. The Lammer spits up 3 bombs. And Rafis is rapidly filling out his crystals. For I think that is the only crystals he can get right now, because everything else is kind of out of reach to him. Can't get anywhere in Swamp because no small key. Can't get anywhere in Thieves Town because no big key. You can get the desert crystal, yes. I don't know if he'd really want to do that though, because that puts a bunch of stuff out of reach to him in the front. Because you could either choose to steal the key and go to the back like that, or well, go to the front and check out items there, or he could just go to the back and get items that way. Not having a mirror, he is going to use that book to get to the front. Where was that book? I think I missed that. I think that must have been in Mizumai because I didn't see him have a book before. Unfortunately, we do have a bit of stream cutouts, so it's a little difficult for me to catch all the items. Plus, I am ridiculously inattentive, so. Yeah, having that book, he is going to be able to get into the desert here. He's checking out the few items available to him in the front, which is going to be the torch here and that chest and a big chest, but there's going to be 2 more chests on the right side that he's not going to be able to get into unless he finds a small key somewhere or steals a key. It's perfectly possible he could leave the dungeon at this point because we could end up with necessary stuff over on that right side, and he may not want to actually steal a key or mess around with key logic. But he is leaving the dungeon through the left exit, so he may be choosing to go get the crystal here. And yeah, he's going for the boss. A question in chat, what are the settings of the seed? So this is a boot start seed. This is going to be boot start for all of the races this week. After that, it was a mystery seed. So we had an inverted start to begin with. We have got full key sanity. So small keys and big keys are mixed up all over the place. We have got, I am presuming to be regular boss shuffle now. So we ended up with a Trinex back in Eastern Palace. So we're going to need the Ice Rod for that at least. Normal difficulty settings, because we do have males available to us, and that means we also have the silvers and more swords available somewhere. And it is 7/7 fast Ganon, because the Ganon hole is already open at Hyrule Castle, and we need 7 crystals to fight him. And also 7 crystals to get into Ganon's Tower. We have got a Mothler back here in Desert Palace. And about all the spikes in the room, he's much easier to take out. Yeah, our runners were kind of hurting for health in the initial part of the race. We got our Dark World access pretty quickly with the gloves, hammer, and moon power, which I think was on the pyramid. But they were lacking a lot of health until then, and all the health has kind of come in the light world here. But we saw that there was a blue mail on the lumberjack way before access to the light world, and that blue mail already confirms that it's normal difficulty because you will not find males in hard or expert. And yeah, given we've got a good variety of bosses, it's almost certainly just regular boss shuffle. Let's have a small key to Castle Tower. So that will get you access to 1 extra check in Aga Tower. And we could have a necessary key there, like Swamp Palace. Tracker points out, and yeah, Ravis looks like he's left behind Checkerboard Cave. So Checkerboard Cave is one of those locations which you would normally think I need the mirror to get to this from the Dark World, but your mirror here takes it from Light World to Dark World. So Checkerboard Cave is one of those checks like Graveyard Ledge and K45 where you can just walk in the regular way. So there could totally be something necessary there in Checkerboard Cave, and it looks like Ravis has forgotten it. Oh dear. I imagine if he does find a mirror somewhere, he will probably go into it. There's this big key to Hera there from the waterfall cave. Both runners have been into Hera. Couldn't get up to the boss because he had a bit of trouble doing the Hera pot clip. Both our runners had gone in without the big key or small key. But that will get you up to the boss and open up the big chest in logic now. And I'm pretty sure that Ravis grabbed a small key inside Tower of Hera because he was checking out the basement once he was done with the boss. So there was the small key was in Tower of Hera itself, but the big key was over there. Juju taking the time to top up his magic here before getting into the back of Skull Woods. Luckily for him, there's no Mothler back here, so he doesn't need to worry too much about his magic. Just gotta light up those torches and he'll be set. He has got 30 arrows for those Armos Knights, but those Armos Knights do all sorts of weird things in Mothler's room, so we'll see if he manages to preserve his supply to kill off all the Armos Knights or not. Oh, we're finally getting our green pendant hand in. Ravis did not do this earlier, despite being in a perfect place to do it. That was just 50 rupees. Juju's actually going for fighter sword spins here on the Armor Knights. He does have a bow. He does have it ready. So I'm surprised he's not actually going for bow shots here. Maybe not feeling comfortable with his accuracy because the conveyor belts mess you up a lot, and the Armor Knights sometimes just decide to take a trip to the bottom or the top of a room out of reach. Aha! Now, thanks to having this Titansmiths, we do have access to King's Tomb. And there's our last Paths of Darkness small key. So Paths of Darkness is fully in logic. Juju takes down the second Armor Knight. I think it might just be the first Armor Knights for him, but he gets his second crystal. Ravis is actually going to take that small key immediately into Aga Tower and check out the second item in here. Luckily, we didn't actually need to kill Aga for access to Lumberjack, because that is just a male upgrade there. So it might be giving us a handy checklist of stuff that we haven't seen in the seed so far. So we haven't seen the Smith chain. We haven't seen anywhere in Turtle Rock, which is available now that the Cane of Smile was on the boss of Ice Palace. So I think was yeah, that was the first Armor Knights actually. So both our runners have seen two Armor Knights. We also have Spike Cave, we have Checkerboard, which Ravis seems to have forgotten about, and we also have something I forgot about, which is the Dig game, because this seed was ridiculously tight on cash. Nobody even had the cash to check out the... well, they had the cash to do the chess game only, and both our runners chose to do the chess game rather than farm up from the arrow game. So nobody has had the cash for digging game in the Dark World, and nobody has done digging game. I gotta say, if I was playing this Key Sanity, I would totally forget about that digging game, probably forever. But Ravis is going to give us a look into Turtle Rock. This is a dungeon he can't make too much progress in because he doesn't have a big key. He only has two small keys, but he can make some progress inside. And some progress is better than none. He's not going to need an ice rod to finish the dungeon, at least, because we are dealing with regular boss shuffle here, so there's going to be no Trinex at the end. It's going to be another boss. there's a second small key to Aga Tower. So you could go kill Aga if you wanted. Dude has finally picked up his Master Sword from the chess game, and he's pretty near digging game already. So is he going to go down there? No, he isn't. Okay, that was a red mail there inside the rock. So Lumberjack was something else completely. I did see in chat that somebody mentioned it was a compass, so I guess it was a compass then. Okay, my mistake. Anyway, there's also a mirror next to that red mail. And that mirror is pretty darn handy, because now we can get into Swamp Palace. Just kind of have to go into it backwards. So Ravis has access to one chest in here, just one. That's all he has. If there's nothing in the chest that would give him access to the rest of the dungeon, which would be the small key itself, he's got to leave. But it's a check, and we're kind of running thin on checks here, so he's going for it. Oh, okay. It looks like Ravis has the small key already because it's there on his menu. So it looks like he got it during one of his stream freezes. But that's okay because he gets a big key to turn rock from the first chest anyway. So there was a key in the first chest. Just not the Swamp Palace small key itself. So yeah, this is a dungeon he's actually been able to do for a long time now. Okay. So we do also have the big key to Swamp Palace, so we're also going to be able to get all of the checks in this dungeon. So I imagine we'll probably be seeing Ravis do the entire front half of Swamp Palace. We may choose to go straight to the boss and do the front half after that, but this is probably going to be a full clear for him, because we still need keys. And we need an ice rod too. Yes, that is correct, chat. We do need a Thieves Town big key and an ice rod, and I think after that it's pretty much go mode. Ideally, we find another sword or silver arrow somewhere, but in a key sanity seed, you kind of want to cut your losses and just do Master Sword Ganon if you have to. Oh, hey, there's silvers. Silver's in the big chest of Swamp Palace. So Master Sword Silver's Ganon is not quite as difficult as Master Sword Silverless. So that's a good find. Ravis having a little problem with the push switch there. Who tries to bomb the switch, the crystal block, and push the switch and then get out before the bomb explodes, but has trouble pushing, and that's going out this way. I'm actually not sure why he's bombing the chest there, because he'd still be stuck on the other side. So instead, he's just going to do diver down here. Places a Maya block in the right place, dives into the water and back up to tip himself in a funny way, and pushes his way over, jumps in the water again, and he's walking in water. GT Dude apparently retrieved the Smith just now in the Dark World, and the Smith kind of just disappeared, according to our tracker, might have me. I think I normally know in regular mode, if you save and crit with a Smith, then you will pop up with him in the light world, because Logic can expect you to not have a mirror and to hand in Smith. So when you save and crit and pop up in the light world without having a mirror or Aga kill, the Smith accompanies you. I'm not sure if that gets changed for inverted, but regardless, it seems Judy Dude lost his Smith and had to go fetch him again. Ravens is going to do another little diver down here in Swan Palace. Diver down is a really handy trick, but it only saves you a bit of time in Swan Palace. It's not necessary. Compared to Icebreaker, a very similar glitch in Ice Palace, that can save you a whole lot of time in Ice Palace, and it saves the need for a bomb jump, which I find way hard to do. There's a map to GT in the Flooded Chest and also a Mirror Shield, so Ravis now has some additional lag frames. A gold shield for a Supersonic. It's a matching palette. He needed to get that. Juju's going to check out the magic bat here. Hey, 3 almost nice. Okay, retract everything I said about this. This is Chaos Boss. Okay. Get a mushroom from those almost nights too. Okay, so we have had a really diverse mixture of bosses in this Chaos Boss Shuffle up until right now, where we just got a third Almost Knights. And even with like 2 Moldorms and 3 Almost Knights and a Mothula and at least we still got a Trinex. So yeah. At least it's not multiple Trinexes, because that's just like the rudest form of Chaos Boss Shuffle, but there's at least 1 Trinex and it's on a crystal dungeon, so yeah, disgusting. So hey, 5-6 crystals done, we are going to hand in a big bomb. Trying to set up some hook dashes here with the big bomb for additional speed. And getting this big bomb over nice and quick. Of course, he now has that mirror, because he would not actually be able to deliver that big bomb. Uh-oh. Get that bomb quickly! He's lost it. Okay, now he's got to go buy another. It's a good thing we found pretty much all the 300 rupee drops here in the seed, because that was some unfortunate waste. So yeah, he normally wouldn't be able to hand in that big bomb without the magic mirror, so this check would not just be locked by the 5 and 6, but yeah, if you kind of jump off the ledge with that and leave your bomb behind, it kind of explodes on you, so you gotta make sure you mirror on the right ledge, or at least walk down the stairs instead. Okay, Ravis mirrors in a much more convenient location for handing in the bomb. There we go. Inside Pyramid Fairy, we have a piece of heart and a big key to Thieves Town. That's a big find. And Ravis is not actually heading over to Thieves Town. He's heading over to the right instead. What's he going to do? King Zora? Must be King Zora. Oh, he's going to hand in his mushroom instead. Okay. Yeah, I think both 5 runners have done King Zora by now. I know Ravis was up there. I didn't see Maxi. I think I just caught the piece of heart on his side because we were having some stream issues on that at the time. So yeah, both runners have done King Zora. But both runners have not done Mushroom. Here comes a Mushroom check. It's a Tempered Sword. I'll happily take that. Moving back into Dark World now, he's going to be fooling over straight over to Feast Town and finishing off that dungeon. Yeah, we do not have a small key for the Feast Town big chest. We can only get into the back and go fight. Well, this is Chaos Boss Shuffle, so Ravens can just go straight into a boss from here and fight some kind of boss. It's blind. So yeah, if it wasn't for those 3 Armos Knights, I would be quite happy to say this is regular boss shuffle, but you know, 3 Armos Knights. That's not normal. And yeah, this being Chaos Boss Shuffle, that blind is activated regardless of finding the maiden or not, so you're never going to be able to do the maiden blind. A small key. It's to Turtle Rock. Oh dear. So we could be ending up with like the cliched Ice Rod on Laser Bridge here potentially, and that's not pleasant considering Trianex probably isn't even in that dungeon. He's in a completely different dungeon. Ravis does not want to do anything else in Feast Town. He's leaving. He's going to the Rock. Having a key sanity, the small key to Feast Town could still be locked inside the big chest in Feast Town, so we might not ever be seeing that small key, but he's still leaving a few checks behind there, at the very least. It's not pleasant to have to double dip Feast Town if you don't have the small key, but I think I would still do that in his case, rather than going straight to Turtle Rock, but he's taking the gamble on Turtle Rock. He's thinking there's an Ice Rod and Laser Bridge, because that's like the most cliched Ice Rod location ever. Oh yeah, Ravis did walk right by Ether Tablet. We saw him do Bomber's Tablet a little earlier. Doesn't look like he's done Ether Tablet yet. Unfortunately, we've got to... let me just try refreshing here, because we are having some stream issues throughout most of this. We'll see if it's back. Okay, it looks like Ravis is going into Turtle Rock. He's in Mimic Cave, so he's obviously jumped down from one of the ledges in the Light World and dove into a cave there. So yeah, you don't actually need a medallion to enter Turtle Rock the ordinary way in Inverted. You can just go into Light World and mirror over into various locations to make your way inside. But we had access to the medallion for Turtle Rock long before the mirror. So we have seen a little look in here already on Raves' side, but only the front portion. Crystal Roller chest is 20 rupees. And it's being in further Turtle Rock, we are already approaching Laser Bridge right here. Making it a mirror shield at least, just to just walk into the lasers and block them. We've got a compass to Thieves Town, a heart container. a small key to Thieves Town. Okay. And a small key to Desert Palace. Okay. That's quite a few more checks available to Ravis now. Not the most ideal of laser bridges, because we would have liked to see a ice rod there to just put us in go mode, but it's more checks. And Ravis is going to go do the boss now, because he's established by now it's Chaos Boss Shuffle, so it's probably not going to be Trinex here. What the? Oh. Yeah, this seed likes to prove me a liar. Well, if anything else confirms it's Chaos Ball Shuffle, it's 2 Trinexes. Right, Gigi Dude is going to take on Lamodus here in Mizumaya. That's much more pleasant than Trinex Surprise. So Ravis has available to him the vanilla big key chest here, which is just 3 bombs, and I believe also the big key chest. So I think that was the wrong shoe to take. Maybe he's already done the big key chest. He's got to do the chain chomp chest. Yeah, so he's got to proceed upstairs here and go do the chain chomps. Does not need to worry about using a small key to get to this chest, at least. Let's see. Oh, there's Ice Rod. Ice Rod and Turtle Rock. Cliche confirmed. So you could go do that Trinex again in Turtle Rock now, if you wanted. You know, just for oops all dungeons. But Raves is not going to go do that. But if he had gone there before going to do the Trinex, he totally could have. So yeah, Ravis is in go mode now, and it's a pretty convenient go mode because he's got an incredible loadout for Ganon right now. 16 hearts, red mail, tempered sword, silver arrows. This is going to be a pretty quick finish to the seed for him. Also, no guessing game for GT, but that's always happens in Key Sanity. This is past Ganon, so we're not going to be seeing Ravis go into GT at all to hunt for swords or anything. He's just going to go straight to Ganon himself. After achieving his last crystal here from Trinex Surprise, and then jumping in the Ganon hole. Right, whilst Ravis makes his way over to Trinex, checking back on GT Dude, he's obviously got to get that Ice Rod from Turtle Rock, which is very much available to him right now. Probably doesn't want to go in just yet. Does not need to go to the boss, because the boss is just another Trinex and it's just a pendant anyway. He needs to get that Thieves Town small key. And he's going to go into Desert here, so he can just finish off Desert. Does not need to worry about the right side of Desert, because the small key was way after killing the dungeon. And he's got to get that mirror, of course. That mirror was, if I can remember correctly, and my memory is notoriously terrible, so I can't quite remember where it was. Right. Turtle Rock Road. No, not Turtle Rock Road. That was the... Oh yeah, mirror was Turtle Rock Road. I was getting confused, mixing it up with the Ice Rod there, which was Chain Chomp Room. Okay, anyway. Rafe is taking out Trinex here. probably thinking at last, because we saw this Trinex really early on. It's kind of, this Trinex was the thing that first confirmed us it was boss shuffle, and then I kept thinking it was chaos boss shuffle after that, and we kept seeing bosses that said, oh, this is regular boss shuffle, because we've got 2 Amos Knights, 2 Moldorms, and then we saw a 3rd Amos Knight, and a 2nd Trinex. So yeah, as Chad is pointing out, I think all GGG dude needs to do is go to Turtle Rock and he'll be in go mode. I think it would be slightly faster here for Ravis if he was to go into the Dark World and then mirror up to the top of the castle. Maybe not. I'd have to time it. Oh yeah, of course he can't mirror from the Dark World because this has been inverted and he would be mirroring from Light World instead. So yeah, he has to walk through the castle anyway. Anyway, we've got Ganon here with hot air balloon facts. This wouldn't be a particularly hard Ganon. We have got Temper Sword and Silvers, and also the Cape as a backup if you want to just invincibility your way through the Fire Bat phase 2. It looks like Ravis just took the damage boosts because he's got Red Mail and tons of hearts, and manages to get the phase 2 done in one cycle. Ganon is screaming about Silvers being his 1-2 weakness. And those were in Swan Palace in the Diver Down room. Or rather the flooded chest room. So quite possible we'll be seeing GG Dude grab those as well. Anyway, Ravis takes down Ganon and with a mid-air sword pose, because he did start with boots in the seed, he is going to be finishing this race first on our restream, and it looks like second overall with a racetime.gt time of 1 hour, 43 minutes and 6 seconds. Just beating him to first place by a couple of minutes was Asda with 1 hour, 41 minutes and 23 seconds. So GG to Ravis. It sounds like Ravis is going to be joining us for an interview immediately, so GG.
GG.
Fortunate that Trinex popped up so early in the race, and unfortunate that the rest of the race made you think it was probably regular boss shuffle, because we had 2 Moldorms, we had 2 Armor Knights, and then there was a 3rd Armor Knights in Swan Palace.
Really? Only 2? I felt like it was like 20? I don't know. Like, well, a lot of Armor Knights. That could be 2. Well, yeah, it's unfortunate with the Ice Rod. That sucks.
What is, I was saying earlier, Ice Rod is one of those cliched items that tends to pop up in the rock when you are trying to last location it, and that was the last item needed, so...
It wasn't really last locating, no. I had a couple of checks left, but it was like you get the mirror on the right side on GT, and the very next chest is the Ice Rod. And I could have like saved so much time if I just go deeper into Turtle Rock. But it's okay. Second place, I take that. Perfectly fine.
Out most for Keith Bird, and getting us up to our finish here is really, really good. So, well done for that. So the there's the amount of hard containers you got in the early part of the seed was pretty tight. So we saw a little bit from you and GT2s there, but luckily that Dark World access wasn't too wasn't too hard to get. But
Yeah, I
if it
mean,
had
that's
been hard to
him.
get, how would you be feeling about that if you had to do like blind in Feastown or something like that without having those important safeties?
So my blind fight was very late, and I had like red mail and stuff, so no problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I had red
It's
mail
just like
and 13 hearts.
Inverted can often force people to do like Agatha or Feastown here, like really early and only 4 hearts, and maybe not even a sword, instead just a hammer or a cane or something. So that can be nasty.
Yeah, but that's where key sanity comes into play, because key sanity inverted regularly tends to give you just regular lightweight access, because you need, like, what do you need for morph or back of thieves thousand and stuff. So yeah, I think inverted key sanity is even better than regular inverted, just because you get more lightweight access and it's more like a routing battle.
Absolutely. We're seeing Asda pop up in Twitch chat saying he also forgot the checkable cave, like you did. Did you actually forget it, or was it a deliberate skip?
Didn't I go there? I
Apparently
really
not.
thought I did go there after desert. Yeah, I did go there for sure. I did go
Okay.
there.
We might have just missed it because we were having some stream issues throughout most of this space, unfortunately. So we were missing bits and pieces. We were kind of talking like, oh, he's going into Swamp Palace. Is he expecting to find the Swamp Palace more key in first Chester? Oh, wait, he has it already. Never mind.
Yeah. The same happened to me. I had to pause 2 or 3 times in Hera basement. I was like, what am I missing? Wait, do I have the Swamp Small Key or not? And I was like, oh, I got it. It must have been really early. And also
So
I
I don't
forgot
think we've
to.
seen many checks that's we haven't actually got many checks that weren't seen. GG2 just went over and did Ether Tablet, which was a Misery Maya map. I think there's also Spy Cave. Both of you did the Blacksmith. I don't recall seeing Purple Chest.
I didn't do anything of the Smith change besides maybe the powder, which I don't know was a. I don't know.
So this ended up being pretty much check everywhere seed, but luckily you had quite a lot of access to most parts of the seed, so it didn't like
Yeah.
massively hinder your progress through it.
I was a little bit confused about pod. I was sure the pod Bicky would be in GT or something, so I opened the first door and saw the second key. I was like, oh, nice, and then I see the pod Bicky and I was like, that's not good. But I mean, I got the one key out of here, so can full clear this. Luckily, but there was nothing behind that.
A small key and a big key to popping up in the dungeon itself is fairly rude as far as key sanity goes.
Yeah, I mean, we had green pen and pod info from Sauceroller, so I didn't really bother about the big key, but it's sometimes such a thing with pod.
And since you did pick up that fifth small key and the big key, you did finish off the dungeon and get that green pendant. But you didn't hand it in immediately. Did you just forget about it, or did you just
No,
want
I
to hand
really
it in?
wanted to, but something else came up and I delayed it, and then later it was like, okay, now you have to check it, dude. It's like 30-40 minutes or whatever. I think it was, oh yeah, because I got the flute out of pod, and I wanted to quickly activate the flute, but I forgot if it was dark world to activate or if it is still in the light world. So I had to. I tried it in Village of Outcasts. So okay, it's not working. So we have to go to Light World, and then I was so far away from Green Pendant that it was not really a good choice in my routing. It was like a one-off. That's why I did with King's Tomb, I think. And if you end up checking King's Tomb combining with Green Pendant, well, I guess your locations are pretty bad.
I mean, that green pendant was it was 50 rupees if I remember correctly, so it was useless anyway. All you needed to do in pod was just to get your flute, and I think it was a Quake medallion in there as well, which gets you access to the front of Turtle Rock, but there wasn't really anything in the front, much in the front of Turtle Rock.
Yes, there was. We had to go through that.
Oh
We
yeah,
needed that way. The mirror was on the right
the
side.
mirror that was there, yeah.
We couldn't
Right.
access Turtle Rock at all.
Okay, yeah, so you need to go to the front to get your mirror, then that will get you into Swamp Palace, and then the Swamp Palace gets you
Red crystal.
Yes. For Pyramid Fairy, it's got you the
Thieves down big key.
not the Feast Down Bicky, yeah, that was it. Bit of a sequence of offense there.
It's not a good feeling when you see the Thief's Down small key on the laser bridge afterwards. It's really not a good feeling. I was debating with myself if I go deeper into Thief's Down. I was like, nah. Turtle Rock has like 8 checks. I need only the Ice Rod.
So as far as Mystery Seeds go, this was a bit of a doozy, ending up with both Inverted and Key Sanity. How much experience do you have with all of these modes?
I have some experience definitely in Inverted Key Sanity. What was interesting was starting with the boots. I haven't had that before, and that gave me a new option to like farm 2 bombs at the church, at the Dark Chapel, and immediately do Hype Cave. That was interesting.
Oh yeah, I got to shout out that 2 bombs farming from outside the Dark Church. That was a really heads-up play there.
Yeah, I thought about that in that moment. Like, okay, the intro tells us it's inverted. Like, okay, and I have boots, dude. I can get 2 free bombs in like 10 seconds or whatever. Nice. I like it. Even
Or
better.
did you do, unfortunately, did the typical boot start thing, which is where you forget you have boots for 20 minutes. So he had to go farm his bombs from the front of Skullwood. And then the front of Beasttown just had like 3 bomb packs anyway. So it's like, oh, why did I do this?
Yeah, I mean, I forgot to quick swap for like 40 minutes.
I've never seen a Beasttown front quite as rude as 3 bomb packs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I was even missing a part.
Another setting we found out was that hint tiles were enabled in this. GD Dude saw a hint tile about a single arrow being locked by the hammer, and he just got that single arrow there in Mimic Cave. So yeah, we did have hint tiles for this seed, believe it or not.
Yeah,
I haven't seen a hint tile in probably over a year.
I forgot it. Somewhere in Ice, I think on the way to the boss, I was like, dude, you have 3 hints here. You could have checked if they're actually on. And then I was like, whatever. It worked perfectly fine without it. My early game routing felt very, very good going through Hyrule Castle and checking Kakariko into South Shore, into Eastern. Unfortunately, with the Trinex, well, I couldn't expect that, but okay, that's fine. Luckily, Digging Game didn't have anything.
Yeah, that digging game. I think you must have done it, but it was when one of our stream cutouts, because I haven't seen a digging game at all.
Yeah, I didn't do any because I had zero rupees. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna farm like 20 rupees to do arrow game, to do that. No, not today. But overall, that was an interesting seed. I mean, Hyrule Castle was stacked as hell. There was a hookshot. There was, I don't know what else was there. There was a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, very stacked Hyrule Castle, but nothing in the castle tower itself. Jujutsu is just making his way through that. It actually looks like he's going to go to Aga 1, but he doesn't have a small key.
Yeah, that's what...
I think he's just walking out the dungeon because he's got to push the block to activate the door behind him and then make his way out. Yeah, he's just walking out. He was just up by Turtle Rock, but unfortunately he didn't go into Turtle Rock, and I think all of his Go mode items are sitting up there.
Yeah, 2 of them at least, and mirror locking the Thief's Down big key.
So yeah, GG's once again. We haven't had any other finishes since your finish actually. So this seed is throwing most of our runners for a loop here.
Wow, I didn't pay attention. So yeah, quick swap. I don't know about that.
Well, this week we do have SG live settings, so we're always going to be having boot starts for all of the races this week, and we're also going to be having quick swap enabled for all of the races.
Whew. That's something my muscle memory has really to work with.
If you're planning to participate in SG Live, I'd say this week would be a pretty good practice week for it.
True. I mean, I was last year at the event itself, and it was...
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
It was pretty good. I had a lot of fun, met a lot of guys, and I'd do it again, for sure.
So pretty safe to say you'll be at least participating in the qualifiers, right?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I have different things to do right now, but probably gonna race there. I'm not expecting too much though.
I'm looking forward to it.
But yeah, GG's. Thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for restreaming. Thanks to chat for being here and hanging out. And I hope you had some good time here. And I also want to say GG's to Diggy because I need to grab some food. And yeah, see you soon.
And thanks for giving us a good race.
Yeah, thanks for commentating and tracking as well. Bye bye, guys.
Goodbye. Yeah, and shout outs again to Mind of Me for keeping us on track. If you want to hear some more stuff about SG Live, C, Kuchiri, and Ada and Dakrick gave a pretty long introduction to SG Live on the daily race yesterday, where they were talking about the race settings that we were going to be doing, everything else that we're going to be setting up for SG Live. There was a lot of discussion about that in the daily race yesterday. So if you have time after this race, please do check out the VOD for that. There's some really interesting stuff coming up there. For now, we're going to be seeing GT2 make his way back over to Turtle Rock. Is he going to go grab that mirror? Is he going to go grab his ice rod? He's going to go into Super Bunny Cave instead. So he's already done this, but he does remember that in one of the pots here is a full magic refill, and he's going to need that magic if he wants to get through the front of Turtle Rock. Although in the front of Turtle Rock there is a full magic refill anyway, so not necessary. Unless he didn't open the entrance. I don't think we saw him open the entrance, so he would need magic for that. Yeah, there we go. He hasn't opened it up, so he's going to get in here, and he's going to get his mirror. Once he gets his mirror, he just needs to get into the front and get his Thieves' Town big key from the change shop room, and he'll be done. In fact, he could get it to it from the front here, because he could just use the small keys he has to get to the change shop room. But given that he only has 2 Turtle Rock small keys, that's probably not a play he wants to make. But we'll see. At the very least, we know he can get to change shop right now. It's just kind of awkward for him. Oh yeah, it was the mirror and the ice rod in here, not the Thieves' Town big key. The Thieves' Town, the Thieves' Town big key. That was in Pyramid Ferry. So yeah, he's going to get his Swamp Palace access to from here. There's his red mail, and there's his mirror. Actually choosing to walk out of a dungeon, well, out of a room, rather than save and crit or mirror out. So it looks like he's probably going to be going over to the change shop room, or he's having a think. So he can go into the north here and grab a extra small key from the Hokuboku here, but he does have to burn a key to get that key. So yeah, he's burning that key. And he sees the Hokuboku and what's he going to do? Yeah, he's going to fire rod it, grab that extra small key and get into change shop room, and this will get him his ice rod. Now if he knows his inverted Turtle Rock, he's probably not going to open that next small door with the small key he has. He's going to save it and get into it by a different route. But there's his ice rod. Yeah, and he's mirroring out. A little hesitant with his decisions. Perhaps not too sure what he wants to do in Turtle Rock. Turtle Rock gets a bit messy in inverted mode if you're not familiar with how it works in inverted mode. He's floating away. He is probably going to do Swamp Palace now. Okay, so this is looking real good for him. He's going to get that 5/6 crystal, and from there he can do Pyramid Fairy and get his 5th town small key, and he will be set to finish his seed. Walking into the Swamp Palace the wrong world, you've got to go into Light World. You still need a mirror for access, but you've kind of got to do the mirroring in reverse. Yeah, there was a tempered sword on Mushroom. I forget where the Mushroom was. I want to say it was on the Armor Knights here in Swamp. There's a big key to Turtle Rock again, if he ever wants to go take on an additional Trinex. Ravis got a look at that Trinex, but he didn't have the Ice Rod from the Chain Chomp room, so he just left it behind. So we also had Silver Arrows popping up here in the big chest of Swamp, so very unlikely that Duty Jude will be missing those, even if he chooses not to hand in the Mushroom. It depends what he wants to do after the dungeon. He might choose to hand in the Mushroom and then do Pyramid Fairy, but if he does Pyramid Fairy first, then he will probably miss out on that Tempered Sword. But he does have a lot of health and red mail for Ganon, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem for him to do Master Sword Silver as Ganon. Yeah, I totally missed where the Swamp Small Key was here on the restream, so I'm kind of mystified where it was. We did have a lot of stream cutouts, unfortunately, early on, so there was quite a lot of information that we were missing, and then we sort of see runners walk into Swamp Palace with their small key, and they're like, oh, our small key ready. Huh. There's Silvers. We've had a couple more finishes in the room since our interview. Shire has finished in 3rd place with a time of 1 hour 58 minutes and 19 seconds, and Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuner just beats the 2-hour mark with a time of 1 hour 59 minutes and 9 seconds. We have had a couple forfeits, unfortunately. So this inverted key sanity, if you're not particularly experienced with either key mode, then game mode, then this could really throw you for a loop. But as Ravis was saying earlier, inverted key sanity kind of makes inverted mode a little easier to deal with, because you're very likely to get your light world access early on, and from there you can get you can go around, check lots of stuff, get your safeties that you need for the dark world, and have a bit of an easier time for it. GT actually going for a rather daring hookshot clip there through the blocks. I would just do the push the south block and then the middle block up, because he still needs to do 2 pushes off the blocks either way. But if he did that hook shot there and messed it up, then he'd have to leave the room. Proceeding into the back here is going to push the statue onto the turret, so not going to do a diver down in the flooded room. Just going to be grabbing those chests the regular way. Getting a little low on life. Unfortunately, the barrier there floated into him. He's got red mail, and I don't think he has any safeties. No, saw Ravis pick up a blue potion, but I don't think Digitude has any safeties. If he, especially if only for that one bottle. So he's got to be a little cautious with his life here. But luckily, it's only Armor's Knights in the back, so he shouldn't be running into too much trouble. At the very least, he's proceeding into the flood room here. He can get a few small hearts here. Also a Mirror Shield. And a useless map to GT. Yeah, there was a lot of boss variety in this race, and especially since we saw like 2 Armor's Knights and 2 Moldorms, and then just a variety of other bosses in random locations, it did like a regular boss shuffle. Up until we see a 3rd Armor's Knight right back here. And this time we got silvers for them. They drop that mushroom, which is going to be Digitude's Tempered Sword if he chooses to hand that in. But that's also his remaining 5/6 crystal, and all he needs to do for go mode is just go for the Pyramid Fairy and get that Thieves Town small key. I mean, not small key, big key. Big key. So let's see what he chooses to do first. He's just running to the north, so he's thinking Pyramid Fairy first. Oh, no. Okay. He's going up to Shahaswala instead. Oh, yeah, of course. He's still got to do the Trinex. Right, yeah. He's got to do a Trinex. Actually, surprised that since he's going to Trinex, I was expect to, well, I think it would have been faster to flute over to the Palace of Darkness and then go into Light World. But he's just running up there instead. Whatever works. A little bit of muscle memory there. GT2 goes over to the right to take out the Igor there, and then, oh yeah, I've already got the small key from this guy, because I already saw there's a Trinex here. So this is going to be the 5th time and last time we see Trinex today. There was another one in Turtle Rock, because that's just Trinex for you. You get an ice rod in Turtle Rock and then there's a Trinex inside. It's just Turtle Rock things. Long as I never see a fire rod and an ice rod together again on Laser Bridge, I will die happy. Going for the ice head here with hammer strats to stop it from breathing any ice on the floor. Running a little low on magic here. Oh dear, that's a missed shot. Yeah, he's out of magic. Okay, yeah, you're gonna have to mirror out and refill your magic, I'm afraid. Oh, that is unfortunate. Okay, so this will probably be sending him over to the magic shop to buy a green potion or a blue potion, and that will get him his tempered sword. But he is just going to walk over there. Yeah. I was wondering if he's going to go up to Shahasrara there, but I think he's already handed in Shahasrara. Okay, so he's going to get his temper sword from this at least, and a potion top up so that he can take on Trinex safely. And this will put him in a really good spot for Ganon. But he will need to go do a Pyramid Fairy to get that small key sometime. And yeah, the Eastern Palace isn't really a dungeon where you can find magic drops in, because you generally wouldn't be using magic in Eastern Palace at all. The game would expect you to have a lamp, but it doesn't really put any torch rooms around, except for the one in the back with the Igors. So you just use the torch there and that would be it. And you can't have, in the vanilla game, you can't have Ice Rod before doing the Armor Knights. I mean, you can have the Ice Rod before the Armor Knights, but Sahasrara only tells you that the Ice Rod is, hey, it's down here in this funny little cave after you beat the Armor Knights and hand in that green pendant. So you can get them before the Armor Knights, totally. You just don't get told about it by the game. So the game doesn't really expect you to have it before Armors. Right, back into Eastern Palace for a third time. We're going to be seeing a 6th Trinex today. But GT Dude is honestly loaded for bear here. So I think he'll be able to do it this time. And has just got to do that Pyramid Fairy and he will be sorted. I think he's in much the same spot as Ravis is in and doesn't really have anything else left to do in the seed other than those out-of-way checks like Pyramid Fairy, Purple Chest. Yeah, he did do Spike Cave because he tried to walk out of Spike Cave and took a death on away. But he got the item in the Spike Cave at least, which was just a map to Misery Mire. Oops, accidentally walks on the switch a second time due to the eyeballs pushing him around and closes the door. Alright, now we have Lost Trinex coming up. Honestly, as far as boss shuffle goes, this is like probably one of the rudest Trinexes possible, because you still have to kill the regular Igor with the hard requirement of a bow to get to the boss, and then you find out you need a fire rod and ice rod. And you hate your life. Jujutsu's playing a little more carefully with his magic shots here now. Got to play pretty carefully with the ice rod, because the ice rod has a pretty slow projectile, and that's Firehead likes to dash about. I find it generally easier to attack the head from the side rather than the south there, because as we just saw, Jujutsu missed 3 shots and ran out of magic, so it dips into that blue potion. Yeah, you want to be close to that Firehead, and you want to be to the side of it. That's the easiest way to take down the head, at least in my opinion. Anyway, he takes it down, and he doesn't need the magic anymore. And it's probably feeling really good as he got that temper sword for the second phase of Trinex here. Makes the kill a lot quicker and cleaner. Alright, 6 crystal for Jujutsu. Just gotta get that Thieves Down small key from Pyramid Fairy, and he'll be done in pretty short order. Again, it's fast Ganon, so all he needs to do is take on blind, claim his last crystal, and then jump in the hole. Taking a bit of a pause outside Eastern Palace here, probably thinking about what he's got left to do, what he wants to do next. So we know he's got to get over to Pyramid Fairy to get that Thieves Town big key to go fight blind. Yes. Unfortunately, it looks like he is taking a forfeit here, probably because he doesn't know what to do now. That is unfortunate. And our last finishing runner was Sandros316, finishing in 5th place with a time of 2 hours, 18 minutes, and 11 seconds today. We had 8 entrants, and 3 of them forfeited because, as far as mystery seeds go, this was quite a mystery seed, throwing up the inverted key sanity. So we'll see if GG Jude decides to join us for an interview, and that does sound like he's joining us. GG, man.
GG's.
So I'm just going to tell you straight away, the one last check it needs to do was Pyramid Fairy. That would get you your Thieves Town small key, so that you could then, well, the Thieves Town big key, so that you could go and fight Vanilla Blind in Thieves Town.
Vanilla Blind, okay. Yeah, Pyramid Fairy was going to be my next check.
That is unfortunate. But yeah, that was all you needed to do.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So, Inverted Key Sanity, one of the rarer game modes, and a bit of a doozy to come up here in the Mystery Seed of all things. So, have you had much experience with Inverted Key Sanity before?
Not really. I'm fine with inverted. I'm I was trying out the Ambrosia that was just introduced yesterday.
Inverted key sanity, as far as inverted modes generally go, it's a little kinder than regular inverted, but then that throws up all the other niggles that key sanity does. So inverted can often send you to do a full clear of Thieves Town or Aggro Tower with like a really limited loadout, but inverted key sanity tends to send you into the light world pretty quickly, so it's a little kinder. The first part of this race, though, you weren't actually using your boots. Did you just forget about them?
Yeah, kind of did, yes.
If you ever play Inverted again and you've got a boot start, what you want to do is you want to go to the Dark World graveyard and go into the bomb box there. That's a guaranteed bomb drop, so that is how you farm up your bombs in early Inverted if you've got boots.
At the... Oh, that bunk spot, yes, okay. Completely forgot about that one.
I mean, I completely forgot about it too, up until I saw our other restream runner bonking into it. And it's like, oh, hey, that drops bombs. We don't need Skullwoods for that. That's cool.
That is such a small arena to fight Tranex in.
Yeah, and you ran out of magic the first time, which sent you up to the magic shop to get to your tempered sword at least. So things were falling into place for you. So unfortunately, you took the forfeit there. But you knew that you weren't going to go over to Pyramid Ferry afterwards, so you were going to do the correct plays and get to the end of it. So you were getting there. So GG's to you.
Okay, thanks. GG's.
Yeah, Inverted Key Sanity, obviously, you were struggling with this a bit early on. Both you and Ravers were taking an absolute ton of deaths in Skullwoods and the Overworld. Ravers was just like, I'm going to exit out of the Lynx house here. I'm going to walk straight into a Hinox and take a death and go straight back to the Lynx house again. Stuff like that. So yeah, it was a pretty deadly seed early on. And then after that, it was just kind of, as far as key sanity goes, I would say it's just like regular key sanity. You had to go all over the place to find items. And Ravers went through Paths of Darkness with just 4 small keys. He's going to do a full clear with his 4 small keys, doing a hammer jump to get to the big chest there. And obviously he got the big key for Paths of Darkness and another small key inside there. So he was like, oh, I can full clear the dungeon now. But yeah, and obviously you got that Paths of Darkness clear too. But you didn't do the hammer jump, you just reached your keys without using one in the middle there. So pretty lucky that small key came up there.
Yeah, you know, that's one that I don't know yet. I haven't. Hammer Jump is one of my need to work on things.
It's something I need to work on too. It's a pretty tricky technique as far as things go, but it's such a useful trick for key sanity. It saves you pretty much going all over the place for 5 or even 6 small keys for Paths of Darkness. You can full clear the dungeon on 4 small keys and a big key. If you ever want to play key sanity regularly, that I think is the most important trick to learn, the hammer jump.
Definitely.
Other than that, did you have fun today? Because that's the important part.
I did, yes. I was expecting a bit of a different crystal requirement, but I mean, 7/7 inverted key sanity, okay.
You have fast Ganon at least, so you didn't need to go into Ganon's tower.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if I'm looking back at the mystery boot seeds ratings here, there's a 40% chance of fast Ganon. And if I go to where access is, Ganon being open with 7 crystals is also a 40% chance, and a tower open with 7 crystals is also a 40% chance. So 40 each way for fast Ganon and crystals, and for the tower and to fight Ganon.
Well then.
So yeah, the odds were actually against this being a 7-7 fast cannon because we had 60% chance of those being mixed up. But, well, unfortunately, we did have to take on that Trinex there, sitting there in Eastern Palace. And then the sea does this whole thing where it makes you think there's no Chaos Boss shuffle at all. And then it throws in the second, a third Armos Knights in Swan Palace.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
There's one other extra boss we saw. Guess what's in Turtle Rock?
Did another Trinex?
Yeah, oh yes, it's another Trinex with an Ice Rod inside Turtle Rock. So, regular Trinex Ice Rod things.
So,
but anyway,
I thought I was in Go mode. I thought I was in Go mode. What was it? Ice Rod Chain Chomp Room. Yeah, Ice Rod. But then I remembered, oh wait, Thieves Down. Ooey. Okay.
Yeah, luckily that was just over in Pyramid Ferry, so it wasn't that far away from what you were going to do.
Right.
So a little unfortunate you didn't finish today, but you knew what you needed to do, and you were going to do it. So the GG's to you. You essentially finished. You just cut it short a little way. So I'm going to say you finished this because you were going to go over there anyway, regardless.
Okay.
Other than that, would it be... Obviously, this week we are dealing with SG Live settings. We're going to be having boot starts with all of the races this week, as well as Quickswap enabled. Are you planning to take part in SG Live at all?
I'm not sure. I wasn't going to at first, but maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, due to the situation in the world and everything, SG Live is happening entirely online this year, and the qualifiers are open to everyone. So if you wanna go for it, you've got some practice already.
Cool.
And if you want to check out any other information about SG Live, I've just thrown in the link there, just beating mud for me to a second, and the box, of course, spits out 2 messages. So, if you want to check out anything with SG Live, you want to know when it's taking place, or you want to take part yourself, all the information is there in chat. So, I think I'm about ready to wrap up things here again. So, shout outs to you, Dude, for giving us a great race here, and also Rapis for giving on a great race. So, your links are there in chat, provided to us by Might of Me, our tracker today. I've been revolving our slot on comms. Tomorrow, we have got another Open Boots happening tomorrow at 9 PM Eastern, and that is going to be Fast Ganon. So settings similar today, but no Randomizer, no Inverted, no Key Sanity. Still Open Boots, still Fast Ganon. So if you want to see some more of that, check out the daily race tomorrow at 9 PM Eastern. Anyway, other than that, thank you for joining us tonight. I have not got the SG schedule opened right now, but obviously we've got a lot of Super Mario Odyssey Triple Bingo Tournament happening. We have got some Mega Man 2 Randomizer happening as well. I'm not sure if there's any tonight. And of course we've got the Metroid Prime Randomizer Tournament happening as well. There's been tons of races happening to that, so plenty of stuff happening here on the Speed Gaming channels this week. So please do check that out. Other than that, see you in the next race.